Hello and welcome again to Expat American. Today we're in Moscow, Russia, again on Red Square, and we want to answer the question, does Russia have Christmas? And the answer to that question is obviously yes. But what does that mean exactly? How does their Christmas compare to yours? We're going to answer that today as we walk around this little Christmas village. Okay, Sveta, so I've been here many times in this video series in Red Square, but never with you, darling. And tell us, what is this thing that they set up here for December?
So it's like a little kind of like Christmas, New Year village where they temporarily set up a lot of different interesting constructions that people can enjoy it and celebrate. Like we have one for Easter, for other holidays, and of course this main one is for Christmas and New Year. And usually it's very crowded. Today is just not the weekend yet, and it's kind of not even December yet, so that's why it's not crowded, but usually it's very crowded.
Yeah, it looks like they have carnival type food and different rides and things set up for kids.
Скажите, а вот этого рябчика, его как вообще готовить? Нужно разогреть? Он уже готовый, его просто разогреть, да?
Да, нет, просто режете и кушаете.
Просто прям резать, то есть он сам готов, ага. Сейчас я посмотрю еще.
So what do you got there, honey?
So it's a type of delicatessen Russians supposed to eat for New Year and Christmas. It's a type of poultry. It's called ryabchik with cowberry. I don't know if you've heard of these berries. So I have never tried this yet. So it'll be my first time.
Nice. So they're selling different meats over there in that little
Yeah.
kiosk?
Yes, and poultry.
Круто. Like an ice skating rink. These Christmas villages that are, fake villages, but actually Christmas markets, I think they come from Germany. I'm not exactly sure, but I see a lot of them in Europe, and I would say this is something that America doesn't have in this detail. Now, I've been to some country towns in America, and they have it sort of, but not as fantastical as I've seen, like in Germany and other parts of Europe and in Russia as well. This is the mall that runs along the side of Red Square. I've been in here in a few other videos, and we'll go inside and see how it looks for Russian Christmas. So Sveta, this looks like an American mall to me, but much fancier.
This mall is one of the most expensive and the oldest malls in Moscow, in Russia, I would say. So I've seen some malls like that in New York. And this year, it's done a lot in this Russian style, which is called gzhel. You can see this white and blue colors. It's gzhel style.
We've come upstairs to the top floor of this mall, and we said we would compare and contrast Christmas in Russia and in America. And for me, as an American, I would say Christmas is about 2 months long. It's November and December, celebrated and sold in stores with music and movies. And of course, Christmas is on December 25th in America. And we have the Christmas wreaths, we have the Christmas trees, we put presents under those trees. A kid might get 8 presents, let's say, for Christmas, wrapped in wrapping paper, and you open that on Christmas Day in the morning after Santa came down the chimney to deliver presents with his reindeer. So that is, I would say, Christmas in America, simplified in a few seconds.
Well, I think in America, Christmas has been the same over the years, over the centuries, like as long as America existed. So in Russia, it has been changed and transformed. Like I can only talk about the times of my generation. Well, for my generation, the main holiday for us was New Year. And I think it's still like that in Russia. Even now when we entered this mall, it was said "S Novым Годом," which is Happy New Year on the doors. So, and for us it was like, you know, a feast with a lot of yummy food and presents, of course. And then after that, on the 7th of January, we would celebrate Christmas, and it's more a religious holiday for believers, for Christians, so that's a family holiday.
Let's continue this discussion over some food. We decided instead of going out into the cold, we'll find a place to eat in here, a place that my wife says is a little bit famous. So I don't think we got anything Russian today at this restaurant. It's a little, well, I don't even know if it's a restaurant. It's like a little bistro cafe. My wife got salad because she's a lady, and a little bit of broccoli soup here with some brown bread on it. That's Russian style. I just have potatoes, and maybe this is Russian. It's mushrooms wrapped in bacon with some cheese. For Russia, New Year is really the main title of the holiday. And for America, New Year is its own separate little holiday. It's part of the same 2-week break, but definitely Christmas is huge, and it's very kids and family oriented. And then after that, you have a little New Year's holiday. I mean, it's big, but compared to Christmas, it looks little. And it's not really kid-centered at all, which I think is why New Year's is not as big of a deal for us in America.
Yes, for us, New Year is a big deal. So we have 2 weeks break, but normally we will start celebrating on the 31st of December, and most of people are still having their official working day on that day, and then we're just all, you know, running around, buying food, preparing just the atmosphere of buying presents and preparing this feast, and then we'll be celebrating all night long. We'll do some fireworks outside. Everywhere you would hear these fireworks, you know, sounds, and then we will watch the same shows over and over again and every year, and we'll watch the same films, the same movies every year. It's kind of a tradition to watch them and rewatch them with the family. And then in a week, on the 7th of January, we would have Christmas Day. It's also the official day off for all the people and for the children. They're out of school, but it's more like the religious family day.
So Sveta, you said this blue and white color scheme that's in the mall, this is on like porcelain dishes and whatnot in Russian tradition and history?
Yes, it's a very famous style. It's called gzhel. Like every Russian knows what it is.
One thing that I noticed about Christmas in Russia is, of course, like you already said, you guys celebrate New Year's, not Christmas necessarily. Christmas is a smaller holiday later, but your New Year's, the presents are opened on New Year's Eve, not New Year's Day, and it's usually one present for kids and adults, not a bunch of presents. And you guys have a red star on your tree, which is, for me, because I was raised in America, kind of strange, because our stars are yellow, they're gold. And I associate the red star with communism. So even though it doesn't freak me out now, it does still freak me out just for a split second whenever I see the Christmas tree with a red star on it, which is kind of funny, just because of my association for so many decades growing up. And you guys have a Christmas granddaughter for Santa Claus, which is really cool. And you don't do the Christmas wreaths, the circular wreaths for Christmas. You associate that with funerals. So these are the big differences that stand out for me between the holiday time for Russia versus America. I actually did a Bible talk about 20 years ago that I've saved and I used from time to time at Christmas time. And I researched what Christmas was about because I thought, you know, I'm in a church, I'm a Christian, we're doing Christmas every year. Christmas is, you know, perhaps the most famous holiday in the world, at least for the Christian world. And I'm grateful for that, even though some people are down on Christmas that it's too commercial. I think it's awesome that we have a holiday as Christians that everyone thinks is really cool and special and is probably the #1 holiday. But anyway, in my research for Christmas, for this Bible talk, Christmas, it looks like the tradition started in 270 AD, and it was a Christian attempt to get rid of some satanic holidays and celebrate Jesus' birth. And they argued that Jesus wasn't born at that time, but they decided because this Roman pagan sun god holiday was happening around December 25th, why don't we celebrate Jesus' birthday on this date? Because people are already used to celebrating on this date, and we'll just kind of wipe it out and have our new holiday and make it Christian. And apparently it worked, and things that we still keep from that holiday, that pagan holiday, are things like green plants and logs and stuff like that. And then I guess shortly after, this guy named Nicholas was an orphan, and he became a rich guy, and he would help poor kids. So the legend goes, by throwing bags of gold through the window of these kids' houses. And then there was something like a Roman Holocaust, and he survived, and he became a saint. And so that's where you get the name Santa Claus or Saint Nick. In German, it's Chris Krindel, I think. Chris Kringle. And apparently Martin Luther is responsible for making Christmas more of a kid-friendly holiday and saying the gifts are not bags of gold, but they're other gifts that are from the Christ child, the Chris Kringle, the Chris Krindel, something like that. Which I find interesting, just the history which you could apply to America and Russia that Christmas came from. This is so beautiful in this mall. You guys also have the Nutcracker tradition, just like we do, where people go see the Nutcracker for Christmas. But I think in Russia it is more of a must, whereas in America we have it and people do it, but not everyone does it. So just for you, I decided to finally pay for the official historic toilet in this old Russian mall, this famous department store. And the toilets are not wooden or strange or anything like that. They're just regular toilets. It is a classy place, I will say that. But it is still, just as an American would say, a bathroom, albeit an old bathroom. In Russia, the word toilet means the entire room. So you would say, I'm going to the toilet, whereas in America, the toilet is only the device that you use that sits on the floor. In Britain, they call it a water closet, which I actually think makes a whole lot more sense because it's a small room with water in it, right? A bathroom, well, there's no bath in it. A restroom, I'm not really resting here. I'm doing what I have to do and I'm on my way as quickly as possible. But anyway, you have now seen the historic toilet in the famous Russian shopping mall. Cloth hand towels, very nice. Is that an old sled? Cool. And right next to the Moscow Christmas market is the Moscow City Walk. It's gel, just like my wife talked about. Well, what do you think? How is Christmas in Russia compared to Christmas in your city? Click like, subscribe, ring the bell notification, and click the box to see what happens next.